Morning, guys. Welcome back to Alright, What's Next? Today I want to do a video over some tools that I have in my shop that I find indispensable. It's mostly for setup and layout type of things. Because if you're going to start a project and you don't have everything set up or laid out properly, your project's going to wind up turning out something like I would make. So proper setup, proper layout, being able to get your angles right and everything is important. And I also got a few other things in here that I want to look at and go over. Let's see here. The first thing, this is the newest tool that I recently got. Everybody has a combination square. Hold on a second. My old combination square. These are your standard. This is made by Swanson. It's a really good quality combination square. Turn the little knurled nut right there and it locks it in place. Loosen it up, move it, take your measurements. But what I find is with one of these things, I am usually always doing that because I want the ruler off of it to do another set of layout lines, and which is fine, but when you have to go and put it back together, these things can be kind of fucking fiddly. Trying to get that little brass insert to line up like I said, it can be kind of fiddly. We're going to set that over there. This is probably the newest addition that I got to my shop. It is a combination square. It slides, and if you notice, there's no knurled nut there to tighten it down. That just comes right off. That has 6 rare earth magnets embedded inside of here. It has a really nice, it's not super hard to push, so you can get in here and really do nice little fine adjustments to it. But it is enough that it's not going to come off of there. As long as you're careful and don't smack it when you're trying to do your layout lines, you'll get nice, good, accurate layouts. It's got the level bubble in there, but it also comes with a little scribe that's made out of steel, or at least the needle point is. So you can get in here and do your scribe lines if necessary. That sets in there. This is made by K-Pro, K-A-P-R-O. Got it off of Amazon. $20 for this thing. I was super happy with it. I'm like, this thing's cool. I love it. I probably won't use my old school one anymore. I probably won't even put it back together. I might just leave it as an extra ruler because I always need a steel ruler laying around, and I never have it. But what I also noticed, I took this thing, and the next thing we'll talk about is a Machinist Square. You should always have a Machinist Square that's, good and true and perfectly 90. And I put it up against here. This thing is absolutely perfect. It is an actual perfect 90-degree angle, where I found a lot of your combination squares like this, or especially the ones where you have to tighten down that knurled nut, don't always have a perfectly good 90-degree line. This one does. So that makes me really happy about that thing. That is a really nice, indispensable tool. With that, the Machinist Square. That is something else that is extremely important. I use this thing all the time. Setting up your table saw blade, making sure it's at a perfect 90-degree angle. I actually use it mostly on my disc sander back here because I use my disc sander now to square up all of my pin blanks. So I need to make sure that my miter gauge is 90 to the face and that the fence or the table is 90 to that. So I use this on a regular basis. So having a nice, decent quality Machinist Square, and these are cheap. You can pick up a decent Machinist Square that is truly 90 degrees for $6-7. With the Machinist Square, I have relatively recently got into what they call 1-2-3 blocks. This is stuff that machinists use all the time for doing setups and crap like that. It is just a heavy block of steel that is machined extremely precisely to 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. It is exact. It is down to like, a thousandth of a freaking inch. When it comes to machining, these things are machined extraordinarily precise. The ones that I have, I got a 2-pack of them. They come from a company called Wen, which I actually have a Wen miter saw. It's not the best quality miter saw, but I have used the shit out of it, and I have abused the shit out of it, and I keep using it, and it keeps working. These have holes in them. Some of them are threaded, some of them are not. So you can actually stick them together, throw a couple of freaking bolts in them. I don't remember what thread count these things are, exactly what bolts they take. But yeah, you can thread them together, make different sizes out of them, bolt them together for different freaking applications, however you want for setup. But what I have them for is that you can put it down on your table saw fence, run your fence up against here, and this distance is exactly 3 inches. So if you're going to use your miter sled, you don't want to use your fence if you're using your miter sled. Because any cutoffs that are up against the fence, if you go through there, it's going to get caught in that blade, it's going to come back, and it's going to freaking, you're going to have a bad day. It's probably going to hurt. So if you use this, and you need a 1 1/4 inch freaking cutoff, and you need it at a 30-degree angle, so now you just set your fence at 4 1/4, run your piece up against this on your miter gauge, and now you've got a big 3-inch gap in here between your blade and your fence the offcuts can drop into. It just makes things safer. It's easy to set up. But that's what I have them for, and that's all I've got them for at the moment. I'm sure I will figure out other uses for them. With the table saw, and I've already discussed this if you've watched any of my other videos, is you have to have a digital angle gauge. This is such an extremely nice little thing to have, and they are a little pricey. This one I think is like $45. It's Wixie brand, but you turn it on, set it on your table saw, hit 0. It zeroes out to whatever it's sitting on, so it doesn't care if you're standing on the side of a hill and you got your table saw set up there. This thing is going to zero itself out to your table saw. So yeah, if you're trying to work like this, it'll zero it out, and then you can set your table saw to whatever angle you want, slap that on the blade, and just start tilting the blade over until this thing says the exact freaking measurement that you want, because the gauges on table saws are, well, they're not completely accurate. It's to give you a general area of where you're going to go with it. All right. All right. Layout lines. That's something else that is important. Triangles. I like to have a set of freaking triangles. I have your standard 45 triangle, and it's got layout lines down this side, layout lines down this side, rulers. Standard 45 triangle. This is a 30-60 triangle. I bought this set pack. I got these two, I want to say about $10 for these. It's like, I'll put a link below, but I'm not gonna. Just look it up. Once again, it's not that hard. That's what search engines are for. Why do I have to put the link down there for you? Look it up. But anyways, a 2-pack of freaking triangles, 45 and a 30-60. Those things are extremely useful and handy to have around. Now, I have a couple of tools that I acquired years ago I went to college for a while. I know, surprise. It's like, that dumbass actually went to college. But I acquired some items while I was there. And by acquired, it was part of my freaking fees to go. I didn't steal them. But one of them is the Stadler, or however you pronounce her name, Staedtler. This is a 45-degree triangle, but you can adjust it and make multiple different angles. That I can, if I need a 65-degree freaking angle, it's 45 here, run it up to 20, tighten that down. Now I can make a 65-degree angle. I can make it any angle that I need it to be. I don't use it very often, but once in a while, that thing comes in extremely handy. Another thing that I find handy when you're doing some sort of a project and you need a curve, and the curve isn't a uniform shape, something that would be an oval, it's not a circle. This is by the same company, Stadler. They're not a sponsor. Nobody sponsors me. This is called a French curve. These are so freaking handy because it's like, okay, I have point A here, I have point B here. I want a curve between those two, but I don't have anything that I can just set on there. You can take this thing, and this thing will pretty much make any damn curve you can think of. And it's like, set this on here on point A, set this on point B, and you've got a curve. Don't like that curve? Find another one on here. There is just an endless number of curves and bends and things on here that you can come up with whatever curve that you actually happen to need for whatever project you're working on. Having a French curve laying around is so damn handy. Once you get one and you use it, you'll be surprised how many times you actually use the damn thing. When it comes to curves, you'll also need to make circles and ovals. From, once again, the same company, Stadler, whatever. Circle and oval templates. These are so freaking handy to have around. One thing, you've got a square block, you can find the center on it, use that center. These things have layout lines on there. So you can center this up onto whatever square, lay it down, take these lines that are on here, put them on your center lines, and your circle will be centered on whatever piece you're freaking working on. Draw your circle out. Same with the ovals. The ovals also have the layout lines, and it's got tons and tons and tons of different oval freaking shapes. A good set of circle and oval templates. That is something that is just indispensable to have in the shop. And last is, by the same company, have a good quality compass. This is, once again, by Stadler. I don't know what these cost if you bought them because I didn't buy them outright. It was part of my tuition fee that cost me a shit ton of money. This will, of course, do far bigger circles than this in this configuration. What you want to look for is you want to look for one that has the optional bow setup. Because you can take this bow, go over here, take your pivot needle out of this, and it locks in like that. So now you've got a needle out here that you can adjust. This will now be your pivot point. So now you can make circles that are about 2.5 feet in diameter, at least 2 feet in diameter. Where's my ruler? You can do circles that are damn near 2 feet in diameter with this here. So if you're going to get a compass, find one that's got the bow attachment to it. If you need to know how much they cost, Google it. That's all I got right now, guys. Thanks for watching this. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like. We'll see you next time.